All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to another session of Tales of the Apocrypha. I am your dungeon master, Star Ryan, and we have a bit of a different layout. For those who are watching this on YouTube, we did not stream this session as Renard was unable to make it, so I decided I would just record it since we only have a few people with us, anyways. Previously, Narcellus and Taffy, our tabaxi rogue of the party, got into a bit of a disagreement, a heated argument about an agreement they came to with the pirates in Eastoft, where they agreed they would steal something of value from the lord of the town. And Taffy had a lot of problems with that. And after their fight, Narcellus left, and the rest of the party went out to search for him, as Taffy wanted to apologize shortly afterwards. Narcellus, meanwhile, headed right for the barracks to have a discussion with General Faldvin, whereupon Faldvin was able to both assure Narcellus the party would not get arrested for whatever they may get up to, but also that he would get them all invitations to the Lord's party later this week. With Narcellus attending as a drow royalty, in a sense, along with everyone else attending as they are. So yeah, that was that. I think the party eventually caught up. You know, Taffy said his apologies, and everyone went back to the tavern to get a good night's rest, for the most part. I believe the next day, since we've had to do a few things off screen. I'm gonna pull up my little notes for this. I know Narcellus and Yavari, I think you guys kind of went out in town, did a few things on your own for a day. Yavari, you helped out one of the locals, Kai, while trying to get some potion ingredients for some sleeping potions that Taffy wanted you to collect for your grand plan for the heist. And in order to do that, you needed to go to the local gardener, Kai, whereupon, when Narcellus joined you, you found out he might have something that he shouldn't have. So you guys made a trip to the blacksmith, requested a lead box, which is being prepared. That was done, and then that night, Narcellus, you and General Faldvin had agreed to meet up, as Narcellus had questions in regard to beast cores, where he discovered that, you know, a little more about how beast cores work, that they are, you know, crystallized anima, that if not in the proper holder, in a little insignia, which is just bits of metal that are usually enchanted with a spell, beast cores can drive people insane or into madness. And how much should I share, Narcellus, unless you'd like to keep the rest secret?
Just that, I mean, you can just say that Yavari happened to spy on this conversation and knows that Narcellus is using a beast core, or I guess a part of a beast core, the actual crystal, without an insignia.
Yeah, so that's fun. So yeah, Yavari does know. Yeah, so Yavari knows. But yeah, that was last night, and now here we are again, another wonderful morning, as we go over to Eastoft. So, after your night out, Narcellus went back to the inn and managed to actually go to sleep for the first time in his life. I know, impressive. And now it is awful. So yeah, now it is the next day.
He and Yavari also would have had their conversation that morning.
Yes, yeah, I think when you guys woke up, the rest of the party, while they were having breakfast, Yavari and Narcellis, Yavari admitted to spying on you, and Narcellis didn't take it well at first, but they have agreed to keep it between them, what she overheard. So yeah, and then you see Arca, kind of looking through his bag, and he pulls out the carrot that he'd gotten back in Drake Mound that the shopkeep had claimed was this magical carrot that could do all these wondrous things if you ate it. And Arca does eat it. You don't feel any different. Everything still seems the same.
Huh. Okay. Well, it was a good carrot at any rate.
Yeah, it hadn't gone bad, still nice and crisp. Pretty good. Yeah, and then I guess while you're digging through your bag, that's when you realize you still have that really weird axe on you.
Okay, so... If he puts his hand on the blade, what does it feel like?
It's very smooth, but it's not metal. Like, you can tell right away it is not metal. It looks like metal. It looks very convincing, but it does not feel like metal.
After a minute, he takes his saber and he tries. He's looking at the other two like they're gonna think I'm insane. But he tries to saw the blade.
Baby boy. Yavari shakes her head at Narcellis and goes, it's okay. It's not gonna bite you. You don't have to saw the blade. It's an axe.
Narcellis goes, shut up, and he's trying.
Yeah, and sure enough, your saber starts to cut through the blade of the axe, which turns out to just be more wood.
He swings his head up at Yavari and he's like, what were you saying?
So what the hell is it? Arca?
Arca is staring at as Narcellis just angrily saws through this axe at all points possible.
So this is really a child's toy.
Okay, that is definitely not what an axe is supposed to do when you try to saw through it.
As he cuts deeper into it, is there anything inside?
No. It is just solid wood.
Well, after peering inside of the cut and seeing that it is solid, he's going to sort of do like this shoulder roll, kind of neck crack kind of thing, and he's going to hold it out to Arca and say, as I said, your toy axe.
I really wasted a slot on this. God damn it.
Marcellus is going to kind of hunker down, like sort of bent over a little bit, kind of rubbing at his chin. He's like, so that's it. It's all making sense.
Is it? Is it really?
And he snaps his fingers and he's like, Durkin's a toy maker.
Arca furrows his brows like he's actually considering the possibility that Sturkin might be a toy maker.
Oh my god. You've already pitches her. Sorry. Go ahead.
He's like, I'm not sure what business a toy maker would have attempting regicide. I don't think there's any policies in this kingdom that are particularly stringent against toy makers.
maybe the queen was going to outlaw toys, or maybe there was going to be some kind of a toy burning.
Sure. Look me in my eyes. Look me in my eyes. Are you listening to what you were saying? You
Like,
think.
you're the only one who doesn't think it's possible.
Because it's stupid. Starkett is not toy mafia.
Throwing up these hands, he's like, are we gonna go to the manor or what?
Oh, right, the manor.
As you approach, you are stopped at the iron gates of the manor by the guards there. As you know, there is a large courtyard in front of it, but it is gated off. And as you approach, you are stopped by a large tabaxi with like orange fur and black stripes. And he kind of looks at you all with, you know, these piercing yellow eyes, and he says, "What's your business here at the Lord's Manor?"
Norcellis is going to probably speak first, since he does have the invitation and the missive, and that he will reach into his pockets, and he will find the written invitation, or rather the missive from Baldwin saying that he will receive an invitation. And all he's really going to do is he's going to keep most of it folded, like folded over, and he's going to show them the very bottom where his name has a signature and his insignia stamp. And he's going to say, "We need to speak to Lord Pierpont."
And the tabaxi will... And you're showing him the paper?
Just the portion that has his signature on it. He's keeping the information inside, hidden.
Okay. And, you know, the tabaxi will look at it for a moment, and he'll say, "Lord's rather busy with his party coming up this week. Is there particular business you're here to see him on? Going to need more than just a name."
Marcellus will say, sorry, that. He's going to say, "It regards the party in particular and its security. No offense."
And what?
He's going to say no offense at the end.
Oh! The tabaxi just kind of shrugs at his last comment and looks between the three of them before he finally says, "Alright, wait here." And he'll go slip through the gates and head towards the manor itself. And just kind of leave you guys there. There is a second guard, a human man on the other side of the gate who looks at you from the corner of his eyes, but he just seems content to leave you alone unless you try to start trouble. So yeah, you are left there for a few minutes before eventually the guard does return. And following along after him is a small gnomish woman with a kind of like dull pink hair, wearing very simple clothing. And this Vaxi will speak up and say, she'll go ahead and show you up to his office so you can speak with him about this security matter.
You give this to Pierpont and say that it is a drow toy from the Underdark to go to his collection. After a minute, he'll say, "Any questions that he addresses toward me, you answer and state that you are my attendant."
Yavari nods and takes the axe very carefully. Not that she needs to be very careful with it in the first place, but she just nods and looks back at him and whispers, "Anything else I should do?"
He shakes his head. He's like, "I'll explain when we get out."
Fair enough.
As you guys are walking, you notice that rather than torchlight, it seems this entire house, aside from maybe a couple of spots, this entire house is powered almost entirely by what you can only assume to be like glow. Well, I'm not sure which of you would have seen stuff like this before. I mean, you probably have.
Yuvari, yeah, it's an ether.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you've seen this before, where they are able to power lights thanks to Anima, usually harnessed through beast cores. And you notice that pretty much all the lights in this manor as you're going are lights like you've seen in Idfu, where, they shine like encased in glass or crystal is almost what it looks like, and they just shine without any need for a flame. But yes, your gnome companion leads you up the stairs and opens the first set of double doors that you guys step in front of here, and leads you inside, what appears to be a, sort of drawing room or parlor where there's a couple of couches set up. You see there's kind of a game board in one corner of the room. And she'll turn to you all and she'll say, please give me just a moment to let me ensure the Lord is ready to receive you. And she'll, curtsy once more as she hurries through the double doors at the other side of the room. My Lord is ready in his office if you would like to come this way, please. And inside, you are greeted with Lord Pierpont's office, with the Lord himself standing there beside his desk. The office is, just as lavish as the rest of this manor. There are bookcases along the wall with all sorts of texts and, old and new books upon it, along with odd trinkets here and there in spaces where there weren't enough books to fill the shelves. Nothing too odd at a first glance. You see he has what look to be a couple of animal skulls on one shelf, and another holds a jar of something that you can't quite see from here. Regardless, though, his desk is seated at the center of the room near the back wall. And one thing that you do notice, and it is hard to miss, is right behind his desk, situated upon a table in an altar-like almost kind of manner, is a statue of Neferu. And you're able to recognize this demiurge because the statue has 4 arms, which is a very traditional portrayal of Neferu, the one of the major demiurges of Idavoll. And this statue, from what you can tell at a glance, is made of gold. Like, this thing is shiny, shimmery, brand new, encrusted in gemstones. And all 4 of her hands are kind of come together in front of her chest and are holding a large ruby in the center. Like, God, this guy is rich.
Well,
So-
that's what we're stealing.
Yeah, like Narcellus will just sort of very slowly turn and make eye contact with Arca, and just sort of bow his chin in a tiny bit.
Yeah, Arca. You can like see the crest of feathers on his head. Like, usually if he's like calm or chill or whatever, they lay flat, but you see them like perk, the crest of feathers perk up a little bit and then like lay back down.
And, as you all enter his office, Lord Gideon Pierpont is there to greet
Hate his
you.
name.
What?
I hate his name so
I
much.
know, it's awful and pompous. But yes, the Lord is there to greet you and offers, a very respectful bow, as he will say, "Welcome to my manor. I am Lord Gideon Pierpont, and it is my absolute pleasure to meet with you."
He's looking at him like eye to eye, like it is very disrespectful, but like in a way that it's like, I'm above you.
Damn.
And he's, instead of saying anything, he'll tilt his head back toward Yuvari.
Oh, was Yavari supposed to introduce him?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
This is Lord Narcellus. Insert last name because I can't pronounce it correctly.
It's okay. Nakuvir. Or Nokuvir?
Nokuvir.
Nokuvir. Either or, it's fine.
Nokuvir. Narcellus Nokuvir of House Banter?
Nokuvir is correct.
Okay. So sorry. I'm
You're
I'm an
okay. You're
idiot.
good. No.
Oh, so she introduces him basically. And does kind of like a polite curtsy and holds out the toy axe and proceeds to walk straight up to this man and holds out the toy axe to him and goes, "This is our gesture of good faith. A drow toy from the Underdark to add to your collection."
So, Lord Pierpont will, accept the gift as he takes the axe into his hands, and, he's seems surprised that when he holds it, it's not heavy. As looking at it at first, he had assumed it to be, a proper axe, even though Yavari did say it was a toy. But yeah, he takes a moment to look it over and admire the handiwork of it. Then I just had a quick question for you, Narcellus. Like, how obvious were the, you sawing into this axe? Like,
they just sort of look like nicks from use.
Okay. All right. So yeah, he'll look it over and he will give a nod to Yavari and say, "My thanks. I do indeed collect rare and unusual weapons. I'm sure I can find a place in my collection for this one as well. And might I get your name? I assume now you are speaking on behalf of your lord?"
Yes, I am Yavari, and I am Lord Narcellus' attendant.
Very good, very good. And he'll turn around and place the axe down on a table behind him, where you can see it is, like a display table that does contain a few other weapons on it. It's kind of hard to see them though, as he seems to have a cloth thrown over most of them, like perhaps he'd been in the middle of cleaning them. But he does set the axe down and then turn back to you all, and he says, "Well, it is a pleasure, certainly. I, of course, was not expecting anyone to be here still for quite a few days, but I am told you are here on matters of security. If you are concerned at all for your safety, I do assure you I am hiring some of the best men and women to look over my guests."
I'd like to cast a cantrip.
What cantrip would you like?
Message. Keeping his hands behind his back, he'll lift one finger toward Arca, and a very light glow, I'm assuming, is going to come from the tip of that finger. And Arca will hear Narcellus' voice inside of his head. And Narcellus is going to say, "Pretty sure that's our target. I want you to do something for me. Make sure that that gnome isn't following you, and go back out into the hall and see if there's any way that you can get in here without being seen. If they try to stop you, just say that you're getting some of my belongings to make sure they aren't stolen."
Arca is very startled by this. But he tries to kind of conceal it. And I suppose he doesn't know he can reply, but you see him give a slight, very slight nod, and I guess he moves on he I guess he moves to the door and he just like tries to like give off an aura of like he's on official business. If so will the gnome like stop him or
Yeah, I mean, if you head for the door, then you are more than welcome to leave.
Alright. Okay,
The
so
gnome doesn't stop you or nothing.
Alright. So he will yeah, I guess he'll head downstairs and try to like loop around to that window to see like how they can approach it from the outside later on.
Okay. Yeah, if
So
that's what you want to do.
okay.
Right after Arca leaves the room, Narcelus is going to lift up his left hand in front of Yavari with the fingers up, like to physically stop her. And looking at Pierpont, he'll say, "You will forgive my pet her lack of propriety. We did not mean to insult her security."
Damn.
And you know, Lord Pierpont will just give a small nod and say, "Oh, it's quite all right, sir. I understand."
And he's sort of tipping his head up. He's like, "Lord Valdven informed me of your gracious gift of this invitation for me and mine to attend your elaborate celebration." And sort of nodding his head down, he's like, "I wanted to personally extend my thanks whilst I am staying here in Easton."
And to that he will say, "Oh, well, I am certainly excited to have your presence at my festivity. Well, you are free to take a look around to your heart's content. If there is anything I can do to help you feel more welcome, please let me know and I shall see to it my staff takes care of it immediately. I do already have a member of House Vondry attending, so I am doing what I can to prepare."
Marcellus's face when he says that there's a member of House Vondre that's going to be there, his eyes noticeably widen, like not the sort of widen that like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that," but like he just smelled the biggest shit taken in the corner of the room. And it takes everything in him to not curse. So after he gets his facial muscles to cooperate and his voice to remain steady, he goes, "Aha! I was not aware that House Vondre participated in such frivolities and human behavior." And Marcellus is sort of he's gritting his teeth while he's talking, but he's trying to maintain that sort of stoic expression. And he says, "Now that I know, I realize how out of my element that I may be, and so, Lord Pierpont, I must ask, may I receive a guest list for this party so that I might familiarize myself with their names?"
And he takes a moment to think that over, and he'll kind of shift his weight a little, straighten up some more, as he will say, "I do hope that will not be a problem. House Vondry is often intrigued in my more exotic collections, but..."
Well, he don't like that.
And after a moment, he does pull out a paper and he'll fold it up very neatly before walking forward to and is kind of looking at Yuvari, expecting her to come forward to take it.
Thank you, my lord. Moves back and hands it to Nurse Shellis.
He doesn't take it. He swats it away. But he says, "You're most gracious, Lord Pierpont. I do hope that these festivities will span the night, seeing as how House of Andre has seen to send one of their own. My kind are quite fond of the night, as we have been called night elves." And sort of looking back toward the doors, he'll say, "As such, this was meant to be a small incursion. I will have my security overlook. I will have my security come at another time when your party is more prepared, and it will take up less of your time, if you do not mind, to survey the first floor."
And Pierpont to that will incline his head as he will say, "Of course, Lord Nokuvir, it is not a problem at all. Just simply let my staff know that when your security detail comes to take a look at things, to give them your name. So I will inform them to allow him in without worry."
My family and House of Andre are, well, as we are with all other houses in our district, quite at odds with one another. This, of course, will not ruin your party in any way, I assure you, but I must ask that you keep my name to yourself until then, if that is not a problem.
And he'll look at Narcellis for a long moment with some confusion on his face at the request, but he won't question it as he gives a simple, nod once of his head. So, as you stop, he will give this a smile that just would make almost anyone uncomfortable. And he'll raise a hand to scratch at the goatee at his chin, as he'll say, "If you ever," and I apologize if this seems to be coming out of nowhere, as I'm sure you know little of my hobbies, but if ever you tire of your Aarakocra bodyguard, I would be happy to take him off your hands. He has quite the fascinating colors I have not seen on one of his kind before."
Uh-oh.
You've already about to throw a punch.
Narcellis bristles a little, not in such a way that's clearly seen, but more in the way that's like you can see that he's irritated, like it's broken through. He doesn't say anything for a minute. He tries to make it seem like he's more insulted that they're trying to take his bodyguard from him.
Mm-hmm.
But after a minute of his stomach jumping up and down with sirens blaring, telling him to get the fuck out, he just says, "Well, I have been looking for something new, seeing as how, well, some of the help I get isn't the best." And he looks at Yuvari pointedly, and he'll say, "We'll see if we can't come to some sort of arrangement. Later, then, my lord."
He'll nod and say, "Very well. Have a good evening, Lord Nokavir."
And Marcellus will just sort of put his hand on Yuvari's back to push her out of the room, and then follow behind her. Like, it's a very rush.
Yeah.
She's like pushed 3 blocks ahead.
Walking fast.
Walking very fast.
Walking.
And yeah, you meet up with Arca, now here in the middle of the courtyard.
I will say, Narcellis has not let go of Yuvari's arm the entire time. And it is a somewhat painful grip at this point, with his thumb sort of stuck into her elbow. But he's not doing it in a controlling or mean way at this point. And his arm is sort of locked very, very still so she can't, like, move away from him.
Yavari is gonna reach over to where he is holding her arm and sort of gently squeeze the hand that is holding on to her and go, you good, Nars?
And once he sees Arca, is anyone watching them at the moment? Can he look around?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Hold on, I was on my spell page.
Oh, I just noticed the gnome moved. Sneaky little two-foot bitch.
Holy
nice.
shit. All right.
He knows all.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, as you guys were walking very quickly out of the house, the guards back by the front door that you exited from are probably still looking in your direction. But other than that, there's something, like the hair on the back of your neck is still standing up, like there is still someone else watching you, and you happen to glance up at the window of Pierpont's office, just in time to see pink hair dash out of the window.
Oh.
He's going to stare up at that window for a minute, really hard. And he's just going to go, "I'm into the guardhouse now." He's still not letting go.
Getting numb in her arm from how tightly wound it's in his grip, but she just nods and says, "Let's go. Let's get the hell out of here."
Like
Freaking
he's
me
not
out.
he's not even going to tell Arca where they're going. He just sort of drags Yavari past him and just sort of like motions with his head. "We gotta get the hell out. First, Yavari, I'm sorry for what I said." He just sort of bites down on his lower lip. He's like, that's just how they act. That's how we act.
I don't hold it against you. When needed to be done, needed to be done.
And he's still holding on to Yavari's arm. And it slowly loosens, and he says, "House Vondre excel at the capture, butcher, and what's the word? And display of non-drow races."
Bud.
Oh.
And looking at Arca, he'll say, "Whilst you were away, Pierpont asked if I would be willing to let him take you off my hands."
Arca. How do you react to this? He seems like a little bit shaken at that, actually. But he kind of inclines his head towards Nars, like kind of like like saying silently, but like he knows the boy would never sell him out.
Of course,
Man.
Arca. Bro code. So,
Yeah.
Narcellas, after a minute, he's like, he finally lets go of Yavari's arm, and he's like, "Something tells me that his recreational activities co-align with some of House of Andre's. They don't tend to hang around humans unless they can get what they want from them." And at this, he pauses, and he says, "But this still means we have a bunch of human killers running around Eastoft right now."
Wow. That just adds another list. Adds another problem to our list, doesn't it?
He'll just he's running his hand through his bangs. He's looking at Arca. He's stressed the hell out.
Aw.
Poor boy. Yavari contemplates for a second, just looking back at the manor and back at Narcellas and then at Arca, and goes, "I feel like that is a problem we should address after what is said and done and what we need to do to get the pirates out of this town.
Narcellus will put his hands on Yavari's shoulders, both of them, and he's going to just sort of roughly grab her and be like, "You don't understand. It's not just a matter of, oh, one or two people might go missing. There's not just one person from House Vondre. It doesn't work that way. They're not like me. It's going to be them and their posse and their guard." And he just sort of takes a breath after a minute. And he's like, "Trust me, this is a little more important than the pirates. And the last thing that I want is one of you going missing while we're trying to get whatever it is he's gotten from the pirates."
I'm guessing, Narcellus, are you just like marching right on in here with Yavari and Arca?
Yeah, and, well, he doesn't even wait to be announced at this point. He just walks up to the desk. And unfortunately, the person who he hates is not there. Because now he's looking at Runarian. And it's a really awkward moment where he's just sort of standing man emoji, and he's like, is your father here?
And as you guys first come into the guardhouse, Runarian is stationed behind the desk, and he seems to be just listening to Legan go on about something. As you come in, you're catching part of the conversation is him talking about some monster tracks he'd been following out in the woods and his theories about what it could be. And seeing you, Runarian instantly perks up, as he probably wants to be doing anything but this. And he says, "Oh, Narcellus and Arga, and you miss Yavari. It's good to see. My father, well, he did have to step out for something. Is there something going on?"
You just hear like this, "Of course," and he sort of rubs at his eyes, and he looks back at Yavari and Arga. "Would you guys like to explain?"
Well, would you like to explain, Arca? Or should Yavari?
Arca can explain. He steps up to the desk and
Stands on the bench.
yes, steps on the bench. No, he's like, "Okay, thank you." He's like, "Over here." And he explains to Runarian, we were just, we just dropped by, shoot, what's his name?
Lord Pierpont.
Lord Pierpont's manor, and we learned some things that, your father probably ought to know about. Perhaps out here isn't the best place to start talking about everything that we found out, but yeah, we need to talk to him.
Very well. Legan, would you mind going and finding General Faldvin? I think he should be over by the eastern gate. And, Legan will perk up, and he had seemed a little deflated at first when Runarian kind of turned away from him to speak to you guys, but he, perks back up and nods his head, and he says, "Yes, sir, right away." And he'll go and hurriedly dash out the door and leave you guys there.
Baby
boy.
And, as he does that, Ari will have a seat at one of the chairs here. We'll just pretend he's sitting. And he'll say, I have heard very strange things about that man, if we're being honest. I never liked him ever since we came here.
And Marcellus... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just Arcus is commenting, yeah, turns out you have a really good reason for that.
Narcellus, unable to contain himself anymore, unable to hold it, and kind of irked by Arca's, what's the word, subtlety, will suddenly slam his good hand on the table in front of Runarian, and he's just gonna go, "They eat people!"
Runarian will, like, jump in his seat as Narcellus slams his hand on the table, and he'll just give him a really weird look and say, "Who eats people?"
It's like, and he just says, "Drow!"
Well, yes, I know that, but what does that have to do with Lord Pierpont?
He gets a little bit closer to Ari, and Ari can really see the points of his teeth while he's talking. He's just like, he's invited members of House Vandre who hunt down non-drow, and he pauses, and he's clearly he's getting so close. He's like almost on top of the desk. Like his knee is up on top of the desk, okay? He's getting closer, and he gets close enough to him, and he's just like, "Do you know Alisaria of House Vandre? She has a necklace of elf ears because it's the parts she doesn't like to eat."
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus.
I just wants to grab the back of his little cloak and tug him off of the desk and go, "Narcellus, you are freaking everyone out, including yourself."
And as Narcellus was, like, climbing onto the desk, Ari is just, like, kind of leaning as far back in his chair as he can, and as he finally says the last few words about this, one drow who likes elf ears on her necklace, he will just shudder at that and go, "Oh, that's dreadful. Why would Lord Pierpont keep such company?"
And Narcellus, off of pure speculation, he just goes, "Because he likes to eat people!"
Narcellus, you are saying this way too loudly.
Yeah,
he's breathing very heavily.
Yeah, at this point, like, everyone else in the room is, like, looking over at you guys like, "Oh god, are they okay?"
No, we're not okay.
And it's about at this moment that the door opens behind you guys, and
oh, what a weird moment to walk in.
Yeah. And in comes General Faldvin with Legan probably somewhere, if I can find him again. There he is. And, the general, upon seeing you three there, gives a small sigh. That, like, he's already tired. And he'll say, "What is it this time?"
And unceremoniously, as though he's so tired he's had to repeat himself, he will throw his arms up in the air and just go, "They eat people!"
No. I swear to the 9 circles, you need to calm down.
And I'm sorry, really quick.
To Yavari, like, not even paying attention. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. You're good.
It's because they're not even paying attention to the fact that they're being addressed. He turns to Yavari and just sort of looks at her like the nine circles. I don't think there's anything that they can do about this kind of situation. But he's still, like, sort of pointing at Arca, like gesturing widely with his hand. And when the door opens, though, he will, like when he realizes that they're being addressed, he will just sort of pause mid freak out.
And as you said, they eat people earlier. Runarian will, like, pitch in from behind, And they keep the ears!
Oh, God.
And General Faldman is just looking between all of you and sighs again as he just says, just come with me. I was not aware, no. Just considering the hobbies I have heard he partakes in, I am unsurprised he is friends with one of the drow houses. I suppose I was just hoping they would not show up.
At the mention of not surprised he's, aligned with one of the drow houses, Marcellus kind of quirks like a what the hell was that supposed to mean kind of eyebrow. Doesn't say anything, but it's on his face. Suddenly, he looks at Arca with like this sort of wide-eyed stare, like he just remembered something so important. And turning back to the desk, he goes, I think I know what we need to steal.
Oh, God.
And Baldwin will look, his eyes will widen for a moment as Narshellus says that so suddenly, before clearing his throat and say, well, I'm sure whatever it is, you certainly wouldn't steal, as I am sure you are very upstanding citizens. And he'll say it like a little loudly, knowing that his son and Legan are in the other room, and gives Narshellus a pointed look.
He just sort of deflates a little bit. He's like, let's talk about the statue.
And he'll just give
You're gonna steal his statue? Are you kidding?
She's like, no. Marcella's like, no, we're not gonna steal it. I just want to. Shut up, Yavari.
All Baldwin will say is, it's a very expensive-looking statue.
You wouldn't happen to have anything that needs doing for us, would you? I mean, we are still technically working for you.
And General Baldwin will definitely kind of think about that for a moment, as his gaze will kind of wander briefly to the side. Hold on. Give me 1 second. And he will say, actually, there is. I was just about to begin looking into a matter. One of the locals reported that her daughter had gone missing south of town. If you wouldn't mind looking into it for me, I would appreciate it.
And he kind of, hoping no one else notices up, he does kind of perk up at that in like this almost excitable kind of way. And without even asking Yavari or Arca, he just goes, oh, yeah, we'll totally go do that.
So you guys, make your way through the forest, and as you're going, you try to look for tracks or anything kind of out of the ordinary, as, you're not sure whether this is the work of this, supposed monster that's lurking about, or if maybe it's the drow that Narshellus is fearing may already be in town. Seems to be carved into some sort of statue.
Narshellus is going to kneel down and pick up the discarded doll.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask, is there any hair on it? Is there any damage to it? Does it have a particular smell? Is there an anima sort of charge to it? Anything that he specifically could smell or see?
Well, as you pick the doll up, you can see that there is a tear running through the back of it. Some of the stuffing has come out of it. And giving it a smell, you can kind of almost vaguely smell apples. You can't smell blood at all, so you're hoping that... Yeah.
Is there a live human presence to the smell?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll say yes. And yeah, you probably do see also like a couple of black hairs on the doll as well. That were probably from someone with very short hair.
Okay. So
And at the
we
same
will
time, he will say again, like, Holly, I don't want to hurt you.
And you'll hear, you know, what sounds like a little girl sniffle as you guys come around the statue, and you'll see huddled very closely underneath the rocks and the bushes and trying to make herself seem as small as possible is a very young girl in a lavender dress.
He's going to squat down, kind of like on the flats of his feet. He's going to say, "There's no monster here," and hold out the doll that he's kept in his hand. He's going to say, "Is this yours? We found her on the other side of the rocks."
And she'll just give a shy nod of her head, but she's like too scared to move to try and take it. But she will say, "But what's the monster? It's big and scary."
He will turn to Mari and Arca.
We believe that there is a monster, but we are trying to get you out of here as quickly and as safely as possible. Can you do that for us? She kneels down to her level.
And Holly will sniff and like rub her nose with her arm as she gives like a very small nod and, you know, starts to get up to move over to Yavari. This isn't the music I want. And as she does so, as you guys are all here on like the other side of this like cluster of rocks and trees, from the other side of it, you can hear something taking a step. Like a foot just smashes into the earth like a thud. And another one. And another one.
Okay. So immediately, Marcellus, knowing that right now he should not be casting, he is going to hold an arm out toward Yavari and use it to sort of grapple the child around their midsection and pull her to him.
Okay. And you do so without issue, as she is a very small child.
And he's just going to look at the other two with like this silent, like wide-eyed look, like, oh god, we fucked up.
You think, anyways, that's what you've already said out loudly anyway. But she leans over and she's like, "You keep a hold of that child. We need a distraction."
He's like, "I wasn't going to use her as a decoy."
I wasn't implying. I'm telling you to keep her safe.
Well, Marcellus
We
will
need to make a distraction.
he will put the doll like in the child's hands, like he has her facing toward him, so it shouldn't go anywhere. He says, "Okay, I know I look kind of scary, but I'm going to do everything I can to get you back to your mom. Okay, Holly?"
She just gives a tiny little nod. So as you all huddle up and you are ready to run in the hopes, you know, Arca can make some sort of distraction, Arca, you take aim and you throw your javelin. Your aim isn't all that great. You do kind of hit over here towards the rocks of the statue, but you don't quite hit your mark. But are you guys going to try and make a run for it? As you guys go to make a run for it, you get a glimpse of this creature, and even you aren't sure how to describe it.
Oh.
What the fuck?
This thing is skeletal in nature, but there are parts of it that seem to have like muscle or sinew like clinging to it for dear life. It's huge. I mean, this thing is probably at least 10 feet tall. It has 4 limbs that it's walking on, another pair of arms that, as you see the noise you've made, it kind of drops down onto all 6 of its limbs with these skeletal wings spreading out from it. Its round head sort of focuses on that noise as you see rows of like needle-sharp teeth in its maw. And you see most of its skin that you can see, or like the bones underneath it, is this shimmery gray metallic. And you see like this veins of orange energy like pulsating over the bones of this creature that you can see. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, what's up?
Can Marcellus feel anything off of this creature?
You can definitely feel a lot of anima.
This is great.
Yeah, you can only assume the orange is, you know, this creature's anima, whatever the hell it is. But as you guys are running, it seems to be looking at the statue, but instead turns its head directly in your direction. And as you are running, this monster turns towards you guys, and you see it raises its arms, and you can see like additional spikes grow out of its bones that it immediately swipes an arm through the air, and spikes implant into the ground immediately in front of where you were, Yavari. Sort of like blocking your path almost.
Oh no!
Where's your answer?
As it gives a metallic, like, hissing noise, like metal scraping on metal. It's really uncomfortable.
We're gonna die. We're gonna fucking die.
So, hey, if y'all want to roll initiative for me.
Oh god.
Alright, so yeah, you cast your spell, and, you know, Yavari and Arca, you see a fog seeming to, like, seep out of the ground as suddenly this thick wall of fog has separated you guys from the creature. So yeah, 22 does hit.
Okay.
3 damage. Alright, so as you run into this fog cloud, you know, without any sense of abandon, you swing and you feel it connect with something. As you do, it's very metallic, like you've just hit something made of metal, but you definitely hit it.
After he hits it, he is going to go ahead and rage, and let me spin the wheel of
Oh boy.
prizes here.
Yeah,
It's
let's
a
see
D8.
which... It's a D8, yeah.
Okay.
What you get? Here, and I'll put it in the little chat as well. A bolt of light shoots from your chest. Another creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take radiant damage.
Oh, nice.
And be blinded. So, you can't see it. But, you know, we'll say since you're here in front of it, it'll hit. Because it's right in front of you. So, Arca, as you have run into the fog with this beast, Yavari and Nershellus, you don't hear anything, but you see all of a sudden an arrow comes, like, shooting out from the woods behind you guys and straight into this cloud of fog. And you hear it, like, clink off of the metal very roughly as... let's see. Oh. Where the hell is it? Actually, probably from up over here. You see from up on the cliffside here,
Oh.
General Baldwin has come! And He holds a short bow in his hand, which you can only assume is where the arrow came from. And he looks out over to you two, and he shouts, I told you to come and get help. I didn't expect you to fight this by yourself. Arca, you've hit it, and you've heard arrows bounce off of this thing. You can only hope they've done some damage. And with you immediately next to it here, it is going to swipe for you.
Oh boy. It's fine. It's fine. Thank
Does
God.
a 14 hit?
No.
Okay. 7 absolutely doesn't hit. So you hear this thing swipe at you. You can hear its, like, claws just shred through the air, but it misses once and twice as you somehow manage to stay just out of its reach. It's a 22 hit.
Oh. Yes. Yes, it does.
And then all of a sudden, while it seems to be missing with its claws, you see its head suddenly shoot forth from the fog and, like, chomp into your arm, dealing 10 damage.
This is a nightmare.
Wait, he's raging, so...
Oh, okay,
what?
so it's piercing damage, so I think that's halved.
Yvari,
Okay. Oh, thank God.
Yvari, please take this child.
Mistake.
Be the mother she needs in this moment.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Maybe I should wait to get closer, but she is going to empty out her entire metal ball-bearing bag and just aim it for this creature's feet.
Oh boy.
This is so stupid. This is some Scooby-Doo shit.
Alright, so yeah, you empty out the entire bag of ball bearings.
Sorry.
And they're just everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. We're gonna say it's just this whole area. It's just covered in ball bearings. So as you throw for this creature, Narcellus, you suddenly hear a very familiar voice saying, where have you all gone? And out from where you guys had been comes Runarian. What's going on? I came as fast as I could. As soon as I saw you all ran off. Oh.
And Narcellus is going to very quickly walk the child over to Runarian, and he's going to say, okay, you're gonna go with the big elf man, okay? He's so pretty, isn't he? You're gonna go with the pretty elf man. And just hoists the child up to Runarian expectantly.
Ari will take this child. Here, I'm just moving you.
Yeah.
Ari will take the child and say, "What? But I can help you fight."
Sorry, Ari. I need both hands. I want Narcellus to. He will have heard the arrows hitting this thing, and you said they're making a very metallic sound, right?
Yes.
So, remembering what happened when he was fighting the Sufflagan, he's going to put both of his hands out, kind of refocus himself, and he's going to cast Witch Bolt.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh.
Okay.
Literally saying to Runarian, hey, or like, yeah, sorry, I need both hands.
And Runarian will just, take the child and, kind of back up towards the cliffside over here as you raise your hands to, attack this creature, and just a creature within range. You don't even have to like frickin' see it. So thanks to being able to sense Anima as Narcellus can, your spell immediately takes a hold of this thing.
Oh.
So it's still a 13. So as you shoot this lightning out from both of your hands, you think you have a fairly certain idea of where this creature is. But your lightning shoots right through the fog and hisses into the ground on the other side of it. As a miss.
Great. We're wasting Anima.
So this creature now will turn towards Narcellus. Does the 17 hit?
Was that a question?
Listen, it's fine.
Was that a question? Does it hit? Because my armor class is 12!
Alright, it lashes out at you with one of its front claws and hits you for 8 slashing damage.
Oh, Jesus. He will... where does it hit? I'm assuming if it's a claw, it's like midsection or something.
Yeah, probably somewhere on his torso.
Right, so you said 8?
8.
21 minus 8 is 15? 13.
13,
yeah. He will kind of grapple his midsection in searing, blinding pain and just kind of bend over.
Oh. Then it is going to take a second swipe for Arca, but I think a 13 misses.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. And, oh gosh. And then it swipes at Narcellus and Arca, kind of trying to see who's the easier prey, and then yeah, I don't know, it'll fight for Arca again because it's just attacking you. All.
Okay, well, a 21 does it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Arca.
It's okay. He has
6 piercing, which I think is only 3 thanks to your rage.
Yes.
Right. This thing's looking pretty rough so far. It's got cracks all in its body. Its chest is cut open now with its, crystallized heart there fairly exposed. Very nice. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
Oh yeah, the range bonus action thing.
Yeah.
Let me scroll up to that again.
Nice. Actually, or no, I think, what is it, a Constitution save?
Yes, it needs to succeed a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Six absolutely fails. So yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
Alrighty. 1d6. And then it'll be blinded until... Oh, damn.
Nice. 5. So, after your axe into it, your anima spills out again to, hit this creature just square on. And it does hit it into the face as it kind of, pulls back away from the attack. You're not really sure if it blinded it. You're not really sure if it really needs to see in the first place.
Oh.
Whoa.
I did not account for that.
Right, then if that is that, then, we'll go on
Yeah.
to Faldvin's turn here. So I'm just trying to like what the heck I've got on him here. So we'll just go ahead and take some more hits to this thing. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done it like that, but it's fine. Okay. Gosh, he's scary.
Holy fuck. Yeah, very scary.
Alright. So as he raises his greatsword again, he's watching this all unfold, and when Narcellus uses his anima, Baldwin just furrows his brow at him, but does nothing considering they have this huge monster to deal with in front of them. But he will see where they are attacking it in the chest, and he will, try to aim for that as well with his sword as he thrusts into it. And his second attack manages to strike at its heart, which cracks the crystal, but does not break it, as this creature is still holding on for dear life here. But you can tell it is struggling. Its limbs seem to move much more heavily now. It's moving around, kind of twitching and like convulsing almost, as its anima is starting to get a little out of control. Now it will turn towards Faldvin, very upset at him for breaking its little crystal heart. Oh, all right.
Goodbye, Faldvin.
It's fine. Yep. So the creature will turn on him and, lash out with its head first to bite down onto Faldvin's arm, drawing blood. He thankfully manages to shake the thing off, but it does not stop as it goes in for another attack. Its claws this time. And the first attack will go wide as it attempts to swipe for him, but it'll... Oh, that's not the right one I wanted. That's not what I wanted to roll. It will swipe again. And still misses. As it swipes twice, but Faldvin dances out of the way of its attacks. Alright, so we are up to Yavari next. Monster's looking rough. What are you doing?
I think Yavari is going to... Hold on, let me think.
Oh, you're good.
Yavari is not going to relent so easily, and she is going to cast Chromatic Orb and choose fire damage.
Ooh.
Let me put it in the chat. And then make a ranged spell attack against the target. If the attack hits, the creature takes 3d8 damage. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
would be intelligent.
So go ahead and roll that.
Oof. Oof.
Fortunately, a 10 does not hit. You already used your Anima shard. I'll let you use it. If you wanna.
I don't think I've used my Anima shard yet. I think I'll use it.
Alright, yeah, go ahead and roll one more time.
Don't do me wrong, Anima shard. Please. Oh, God.
Oh,
Oh. No, go ahead and
oh.
redo that since it rolled with advantage for some reason. Just, roll a second time normally. Sorry.
Nope, so bad.
Yeah, it goes wide, unfortunately, as this little orb you shoot forth just bursts into the cliffside behind it.
Damn. I'm so lame.
Oh no.
You did big fire damage.
Actually, roll a d20 for me, real quick, Yavari.
Okay. D20. Okay. Well, that's a good roll.
Holy shit. Alright, nice. Okay, here, hold on. Because you know what you threw earlier. Your dagger.
Oh,
My baby.
So go ahead and roll a d4.
A D4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, as your orb goes wide, you see movement from the bushes. And the next thing you know, your dagger comes flying out of the bushes towards this creature, like spinning through the air kind of wildly. And it, kind of like nicks into the side of the creature's head, leaving a pretty good, like, slash mark across its face. And then the dagger comes flying hilt first back to you, so it does not accidentally stab you.
Nice. I do not want to be stabbed by my own dagger.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah. Good job. You did it.
Thanks. Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all we're gonna do for the turn.
All right. Then after that, it is Runarian, who, has been just keeping his eyes on the whole battle, but he is doing his best to kind of comfort the small child in his arms. So he is going to stay there doing that. We are going to go ahead and move back around to Narcellus. So,
Do I have to do an action?
you don't have to.
I feel like now that the anima is leaking out of this thing in waves, and he's seen the heart, quote, heart, and seen it get hit, it's entirely too uncomfortably familiar. And for a really long second, he stands there, kind of not knowing what he should do. This is a very serious situation.
Oh, I said give me 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Narcellus is just kind of standing there?
Kind of. Honestly, he's kind of having a trauma response, and he's just standing there, just staring at this thing in its chest.
So, in this case, even though I'm not using it in the right spot, but I'm going to try it anyways, Faldvin is going to look over and see Narcellus looking a little frozen, and he's going to shout to him, "Get a hold of yourself, lad. Still have a monster to deal with."
So he's going to instantaneously respond, and cast. So what's the first thing that would come to mind? Another firebolt.
All right. Go ahead and make your spell attack.
Oh, okay.
19 absolutely hits. So go ahead and roll a 1d10 for damage. Woo!
It's fine. Just yell at him. It works.
All right. How would you like to do this?
Oh, it's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and
Dead.
describe how this happens, if you would
kind of
like.
jerked out of his frozenness, kind of like closing his mouth again. He will immediately bring up his hands, almost as in like a reflex,
Mhm.
and a firebolt will just sort of burst out of the center of his gloved hand, and it will aim directly at the crystal in this thing's chest.
Nice, yeah, and it connects without a problem, having nothing there to protect it. And as the fire engulfs the crystal, you can hear it cracking and finally shattering.
Oh, I hate that he did that.
Oh no! As you see, almost immediately, as soon as the crystal breaks, the orange veins on this monster vanish as all the anima has left its body, and it crumples down immediately to the ground in a pile of just metal and sinew. And it is unmoving and dead. He's going to gently place a hand on Narcellus's shoulder.
Aww.
Try to get his attention.
He does look.
Alvin raises a brow at him. Just wanting to see if he'll respond first.
He kind of, like, his fingers kind of close inward, and his arms lower very slowly. He just goes, sorry.
Baldwin will look at him for a moment, tilt his head as before he says, "It's all right. Good job." He'll kind of take his hand back, and Narcellus can very easily see like the blood like going down his arm at the moment.
Oh, can he point it out?
He's free to if he'd like.
He can kind of turn, he'll turn his shoulders and just kind of look at it for a minute, and then you'll hear him say, "Oh, wait, you're still hurt."
Baldwin looks down at it, and you can... Does Narcellus look at his arm, or...?
Wherever he was bitten.
Okay. So, Baldwin, like, looks down at it. You can see he was kind of, like, bit on one of his upper arms, and a lot of the blood has gotten, like, over his gauntlet now. And it looks like it'd probably be kind of bad, but he doesn't really seem bothered by it, as he says, It's nothing. I'll have Sypha look at it when I get back."
Marcellus is just kind of like, okay. And, He'll kind of look toward Yuvari and Arca for a minute. Just kind of waiting to see what they're doing.
What are they doing?
Yuvari's actually gonna grab a healing potion from her bag and offer it to Arca, noticing that he took, some hits from the creature. You doing okay, big guy?
I'm breathing. Arca pretty much replies. And he is looking at the statue. And he kind of clasps his hand in front of his face and slightly lowers it. Kind of like a little gesture of reverence before turning to Yuvari and graciously accepting her potion. And how many hit points would that heal?
I believe.
Well, was that still one of the crappy potions, or was that an okay potion?
That was an okay potion.
Okay.
Yuvari poisons Arca.
Only Arca is no longer a bird, but he is a fish.
Oh my god.
No.
A fate worse than death.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to this monster, other than maybe one little thing, which I will message to you here in a second.
Oh.
If anyone would like to go on as Arca is looking the beast over.
Kind of shake himself out of it after a minute and walk over to Renarian. And not really speaking to the elf specifically, he'll look at Holly and he'll be like, "Hey, Holly, you doing okay?"
And Holly looks over at Narcellus, and she seems in a little bit better spirits. Definitely still shaken up, but feeling better, seeing that the monster was gone and everyone was okay. And she nods to Narcellus as she manages a little tiny smile as she clutches her doll, and she says, "Okay."
Marcella's going to reach out for her and kind of pull her away from Renarian, kind of motion Renarian over toward Baldwin. Sorry about, abandoning you. Your father's hurt.
And Renarian, at first, as Narcellus reaches for Holly, seems almost gives a little pout, I don't want to give her away. But as soon as Narcellus mentions that Faldvin's hurt, Renarian just gives a sigh and says, "He always does this," and he just kind of goes and walks over to his father. And you'll see he kind of tries to lean over towards Faldvin and asks, "Father, let me look at that." And Faldvin just kind of pulls away from Ari with a shake of his head and says, "Don't worry about it. It's nothing."
Oh my god, this hard-headed piece of shit. And Idavoll, Arca?
Yes. Arca. What? Oh.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Arca stares at the monster head for a while, and then he looks over to General Faldvin, and How do I put this? He asks him, do you know can you tell me anything more about Lord Gideon's, eccentricities, as you mentioned?
Falvin gives Arca a weird look. You know, definitely a look of, why are you asking me that now? But he takes a moment to mull it over, or he says, I don't know much else. All I know is he always had a fascination for hunting weird animals and creatures, mostly for sport, which I never approved of. You can, like, especially Narcellus, you can kind of get the sense that, like, Baldwin kind of bristles a little bit at that almost.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll continue on and say, I don't know really anything else about this man. I've done a lot to avoid him at all costs. The only other thing I know of is he has high interest in Anima and the potential for beast cores beyond people like us using them, but that's all I know.
Argo furrows his brows, but he accepts that answer and sets the Chimera's head down. Just curious is all.
He nods before, or Faldwin nods, before he kind of looks everyone over, and he says, well, good job. Should get you all back to town, make sure all your wounds are tended to. Was there anything else out here? You know, he's, kind of looks at Holly, glad that you found the kid, of course.
Not that I can think of. I think we should get the kid back home.
Yeah.
Likewise. She has been through quite a day.
Alright. And well, then with that, Faldwin will kind of motion for you guys to go on, and Ari will go ahead and take the front of the group to lead you guys back to town, with Faldwin kind of bringing up the rear. Yeah, then you guys head on back to Eastoft. Whereupon as you come back into town, pretty much following the same trail you took out there, you pretty much end up right in the backyard of the woman who, or of Holly's mother, and I guess Holly's backyard, really. And almost as soon as you guys break out through the trees, Narcellus, have you been, like, holding her this whole time? Were you carrying her, or just kind of, like, walking her along with you?
Holding her, like, in one arm, probably trying to entertain her.
Fair. So as you guys break through the trees, and you kind of get to the place of, like, the apple orchard where, her mother had lost her previously, Holly immediately recognizes the area, and she starts to kind of squirm in Narcellus's grasp as she tries to get down, and she says, I'm home!
Oh.
Oh, say that again, you cut out a little.
Oh, I said, and he'll put her down.
Excellent, and then immediately as soon as you do, she will take off for the house, and you'll see that the mom had been outside with probably like a neighbor or someone else speaking with them, and as soon as she hears Holly's voice, and Holly of course shouting, like mom at the top of her lungs as she's running. Her mother will quickly go to like scoop her up into her arms and is clearly very happy to have her daughter back. What a good family reunion.
Right.
Oh, sorry?
I was just saying this was a nice little one shot.
Yeah, but yeah, she does that, then General Faldman will kind of go up to the mother to speak with her, and I don't know if any of you guys would like to follow him or if you'd like to go your own way.
Marcellus will kind of look. They all have to kind of walk toward the bridge at that point. And Marcellus will kind of walk alongside Arca and Yavari if you guys are also headed to kind of that direction.
Yeah, Yavari is gonna follow after Baldwin to make sure that the kid
same.
is fully safe.
He will kind of just say to the two of them, he's kind of like, humans are okay.
We're okay.
Wow.
At least this drow pats his back.
Yeah.
Landwalkers are okay.
And so yeah, as you guys approach, you'll hear Faldvin kind of explaining that thanks to the three of you, Holly was found and safely protected from a large monster that had been roaming the woods, which was taken care of, as immediately the mother begins to fret that this monster was still on the loose, but he quickly assures her it was dead. And she immediately turns to you three, and she says, "Oh, thank you so much for saving my Holly. I don't know what I would have done."
Then Marcellus just kind of gets his hand on the back of his neck and looks at Arca. It's like, what? Go ahead.
Oh, Arca doesn't really say anything as much as place a hand on his chest and give a little bow.
Aww.
Oh.
Alright. And then, Yavari, was there anything you'd like to say?
Should probably just say, I'm just glad that the kid is safe. And that's all. And give a little, smile.
And, the mom will smile back at you and nod and just again, thank you guys multiple times over. Before, Faldvin will say goodbye to her and probably just help lead you guys back over the bridge into the city proper. And yeah, it's probably around the inside of the gate. He will turn back to you three, kind of looking over all of you in a very scrutinizing way, as if he's maybe checking you over for wounds or anything that might need to be tended to. And he'll say, "I'm sorry for the trouble this may have caused you three, but I do appreciate your help."
Oh, a little bit more than we had anticipated, but we pulled through thanks to your help as well.
He'll just...
Yeah, no. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm pretty sure we would be really dead if we hadn't shown up.
Well,
Thanks for that.
Faldvin just nods to all of them, but Ari will quickly pipe up, Don't leave me behind the next time I was so worried about all of you. You can see, like, he's starting to tear up a little.
Oh,
Being a big sap.
Oh my god.
Baldwin.
It's just like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I thought say Baldwin will just, like, gently elbow him in the side.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent parenting.
Ari will just, like, sniff and try to get himself together.
Kivari rubbing his back, just very soothingly. It's okay, bud. Next time.
I thought for sure they were going to get your ears.
Oh my god. Marcellus just suddenly covers his face with his hands. He's like, oh my god, they're never gonna let this go.
Baldwin will just hi at his son before looking to the party and saying, is there anything I can give in thanks or do for you all?
You guys go first.
I mean, I would like a very comfortable a very comfortable bed to sleep in, a hot meal, and lots of alcohol. That's what I would need.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But really, she doesn't really want anything.
Aww.
Arca pipes up. If you have a healer, I do have a few scratches. A few scratches. A few scratches that could use some tending to. The scratches are bites from the whole thing, by the way.
He gives a nod to both of you and then looks towards Narcellus.
Lean his long being body slightly to the left, kind of putting his arms above him, like stretching nonchalantly, and just say, it's fine, I'm just glad the kid is safe, but, I mean, danger aside, I still think this was pretty cool. And he just kind of clears his up. He's like, maybe the next time you're in Valgard, you can speak with Her Majesty on their policy regarding Drought joining the militia.
Baldwin looks genuinely kind of shocked. Like, he wasn't really expecting that out of Narcellus. But he gives a slow nod and just says, you never know what the future holds.
Wow.
And he'll then kind of beckon to all of you and say, come back with me to the guardhouse. I can have Sypho look over your wounds, and there's plenty of alcohol and food to go around.